Good morning, everyone. A warm welcome to all the participants today. I hope I'm audible to everyone.
Yes.
Yeah. Good morning, Ashok san.
Good morning, Ramasan.
Yeah. This is Ashwini from the admin team.
Hi, Ashwani. Hi.
Hi, Ashok san. A warm welcome to you, and I would like to take this opportunity to welcome all the participants who joined us on a Saturday morning. As you can see, the agenda for today, and just be introducing Ashok san to all of you. So to begin with, we will just start off with a small introduction of SNRC. And post that, I'll be handing over to Ashok san. So he'll be speaking about, the importance of learning Japanese, the life in Japan, and everything related to the education and work. So before we start off this session today, quick do's and don'ts for all the participants today. Since this webinar is being recorded and we'll be, sharing it on the social media, pages also, we would request all of you to refrain from writing or scribbling or anything on the pad. And please place yourself on the mute. And by the end of the session, the 10 minutes we will take out to take your queries. So we would request all of you to just put it down on the chat box. So just write a message there in the chat box, and we could read out, and Ashok san will be taking those questions. So yes, again, a warm welcome to all of you. It's great to see all of you joining us on a Saturday morning. So from here, I would just request my colleague Ramasan to just do a small introduction of SNRC, and post that I'll be handing it over to Ashok san. Thank you. Ashok san, so to begin with Ashok san's introduction, it's a great pleasure to have him here. So Ashok Kumar san has been the vice president of the country head of TechMahindra, Japan and Korea. So post the small introduction of SNRC, I would do a brief, again go over to Ashok san's profile and share the details about it. Yes, now I would like to hand it over to Ramasan.
Good morning, one and all. As my colleague Ashwini introduced, and welcome all of you. Yes, it's a pleasure to have all the youngsters here to hear from Ashok san. We conduct this Michi regularly to sort of give you all an understanding about what is the market need, what is basically, how you can sort of steer your career. Most of the engineers would think of the US or the European nations, but what is in store for you with Japan, with the doors opening from Japan end. So this is all what Ashok san is going to talk to and give his thoughts and inputs from his experience to all of you. But before that, request all of you to be on mute. But before that, let me, start with a very small introduction of SNRC, the host organization which is conducting these Michi programs. So SNRC basically is Sakura Nyoho Resource Center. We are a core Japanese language services company. I don't call myself an institute exclusively because we cater to corporates too. So what are we doing? So we have been in this Japanese language services business for the last 23 years and have been catering to diversified groups, individuals like one and all of you who want to learn Japanese. We work as an institute and teach you and take you through the JLPT levels from the basic level of N5 to N2 or an N2, the top next level. Then we cater to corporates and also to academics, that is the institutes and universities who want their students to pick up the language before they graduate. So majorly what are we catering to this time? So majorly what are we catering to the corporates? So as you see here, We do conduct a lot of services, anything and everything related to Japanese, be it trainings, be it document translation. These two are, the core programs of SNRC, which are for the Indians, the Japanese culture and business etiquette, and also for the Japanese who are here in India, sensitization about the Indian mindset and culture. Last but not the least is the bilingual placements. We are not a regular placement company which does, any technical placements. For us, the key word is Japan and Japanese. So anyone with the Japanese language and other technical skills, we are able to do this. Next. So few names, you can see we work with different verticals, be it the IT companies, the MNCs, the core Japanese companies, pharmaceutical engineering, so on and so forth. So irrespective of their company's background, we cater to their Japanese language needs. As I said, we've been associated with quite a good number of educational institutes and universities. And again, there it is customized as per the need of the institute. So be it conversation training, be it interview facing tips and techniques, or JLPT orientation, whatever the company, the institute would like us to teach, we are catering to them. So at SNRC, as our logo indicates, it's not always just a bookish learning or only orienting the JLPT exam. Yes, that is one of the core concepts, but no learning is complete until unless you have a 360-degree angle to it, right? So at SNRC, you will not only get trained for your JLPT, the international exam, but also there are a lot of other things which we cater to, which is like, bringing in the culture and, business etiquette orientation, which is the key concept even before you start learning the language, understand the language of Japan, their culture, and then get into the learning. Other than that, we give you a lot of platforms to sort of use your Japanese skills, so be participating in Japan Hub or participating in again the exam conducting process, so on and so forth. You have a lot of avenues, and with a good team of native trainers also, you get a chance to interact with the natives too. So again, such talks like where we connect you with the industry leaders as we are connecting you with Ashok San, who is the Vice President and Managing Head of Japan's TechMahindra. Like that, we've had a series of around 26 plus, 26 to 27 such which is done before, and of course, we will continue. Apart from this, most of you would be interested in our exclusive website, which is for the Japanese language jobs. So we have an exclusive website where you can upload your profiles, and these profiles would be shared with the corporates, and the matching requirements will be, profiles will be indicated to the corporates, and you will be set up for the interviews. So this is all about what extra benefits you get at SNRC, and I've just spoken to you about this website of ours, which is JLJ, Japanese Language Jobs. Once you're certified at least an N4, you can start loading your profile on our website. So we are pretty, active on the social media. You can see all our pages. You can visit our social media pages and look up to what all extra events we conduct, the job batches we start, so on and so forth, and follow us on social media, which will give you an idea. So here, I again welcome Ashok San to this Michi program. Thank you, Ashok San, for coming to us and doing this Michi program on our request. We will be thrilled to hear from you. So over to you.
Thank you, Janarthanan, for the introduction about SNRC. Now, I just love to introduce Ashok San. So I'll be starting just a few updates about Ashok San here. Ashok San has been the Vice President and Country Head of TechMahindra, Japan and Korea location. So he's been a strong, experienced bilingual leader, more than 25 plus years of experience in leadership, client engagement, account management program, having played main role providing guidance and direction to multiple functions. So he's one of the highly accomplished career working on strategic business alignment across all phases of customer lifecycle covering account planning, relationship management, service delivery, personal practices with managing large teams. So he also has a successful track record in driving global account management from big Japanese names and extensive experience in winning large deals. So out of the box, with proven track record of delivery. Ashok sir, again a warm welcome to you. So I would like you to take it over from here, and I would be presenting your slide now. Is it okay,
Yeah,
Ashok sir?
thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for that. Thanks for the warm welcome and thanks for this opportunity. It's always nice to have so much of interest, people having so much of students having so much of interest in Japan, right? And I see close to 30, 25 plus. I mean, people are here who's interested to learn about Japan. That's really well, really welcoming and really quite interested to have a conversation with all you guys. Look, I have made some slides, but don't worry about this because I thought I will talk about what are the various opportunities in Japan. How is Japan good for higher education to live your lifestyle? Because people, in general, everyone goes to US, UK, the western side of the world. Or if not, if you are talking about the eastern side, it's maximum Singapore or Malaysia, not beyond that. But I think it's time people had realized that there is something beyond that. And you see, in the past 5 to 6 years, we are seeing lots and lots of uh, Indians migrating or built up interest in Japan, right? Because there's various reasons for that. Because of the government, we do have a good relationship at the government level. Our prime minister and Japan prime minister, the previous prime minister, very good friends, and the relationship continues there. And um, because of the crunch that we have in the other western regions, right, where there is already we are overflown with all the opportunities has been covered and all those things. Japan is little specific in nature, and it's still open. Being the second or the third biggest economy, there's always opportunity in Japan, right? Being small, known for their culture, known for their dedication, known for their involvement, known for the innovation. It's always they're ahead, even though they're small in size and population. They have been always one step or two steps ahead of everyone. Even if you talk the most developed country in the world, Japan will be at least 5 to 6 years ahead of them due to this, right? So that's in summary. I have just prepared few slides for you guys, but anything you want to ask about Japan and anything, more than happy. You can just key in your questions. I'm more than happy to cover it. Yeah,
Thank
Ashwani
you.
san, if you can go to slide number 3 directly. Yeah. So, but maybe to the slide number 2. I mean, thanks for introduction. I'll just say one or two more words. So, being here for almost 2 decades, but most of my experience has been with Japanese clients. So like all of you, I was just thinking, where should I go? Where should I go 25, 26 years back? And, the time when I started my career was little before the Y2K. So people were jumping Y2K and they were going to US and UK and all those stuff. But I don't know, it's a uh, boon or a misfortune, but I landed up in Japan, but I don't regret for that now. I'm happy that I'm here, and that makes me to address you guys, right? So that's been with me, been here for almost 2 decades now. um about my family, I'm married, I have a daughter. My daughter is also pursued her graduation in Japan, and she works for European Union in Japan, right? So that's where she is, and she's parallelly pursuing her post graduation. That's about my family. My wife is a housewife, she takes care of us. That's why we are able to deliver things. Okay, I will go to the next slide. Okay, so let's talk about what is Japan, right? Japan is a culture-rich country where they stick to their legacy. Okay, so that has happened, and if you know, after the Second World War, where after the so much of challenges that Japan faced, they could recover within 1 or 2 decades. The reason is all the population, all the people in Japan, they wanted to focus for the country. So they sacrificed their personal life and they were contributing, working, and that made them not to get married. Some of them were very, very skeptical to get married. So that impact that has an impact right now, because all those who worked because of not getting married and not have focusing on family life, the current population in Japan is aging. It is they have lots and lots of skills, but aging is the biggest problem for them, right? That's point of it. That's the biggest thing that is happening. And being by saying this, there is a challenge in adapting to the new age technologies, right? We talk about ChatGPT or whatever it is, or the metaverse, quantum computing, blockchain, AI. All adoption of these things has been a challenge here. While the people, the younger generation, is ready to adapt quickly, there is always a restriction at the people, those who are at a higher age, to get it adopted. So that's a big challenge that the Japan is facing right now. Adding to these things, we already have there's already a language complex that gets added to this, right? So usually, like in India, the factories and the companies, the manufacturing hub will be little outskirts to the main cities, which will enable the local population to be working in the actual manufacturing sites and other places. Whereas in the official, in the head offices, you have the little more people in Tokyo or in cities like Osaka, Nagoya, Kyoto, people work from there. You will see a little bit of good knowledge, English knowledge in these cities, and you can see some bilingual workforce or Japanese talking a little bit of Japanese. But when you get into factories and other places, it's always a challenge, and there is a cultural nuances that will come in, and those things are there. Those are the challenges, and they restrict themselves to go beyond because they're happy with what they are. So one big mindset is, when I am happy and when things are happening as my need, what does it need to change? So that's a mindset of Japanese. Whereas for us, okay, I am not satisfied, I need to go one extra step. That's why that's a eagerness, and they're in us. So that's a little bit of a cultural difference that you can find with the Japanese. So saying all this, that gives us, whatever I said is an opportunity for us, right? Those who want to go out, we with highest learning capability, highest grasping power, we have lots and lots of chances to get into Japan. And there is a lots and lots of initiatives that the government is bringing in. They want to go for digital society 5.0, where it's like they're just thinking at least 4x or 5x level of ahead of what they want, what they are right now, right? And they have given budgets for the startups and all those stuff that is happening. That is very encouraging. And between Japan and India, I see a lots and lots of initiative that has been happening. In fact, our PM was here last month, and I think some of the ministers have been here, especially from the south. I've seen some ministers coming and trying to do a startups in having the Japanese firms to be invested in India. So I see a lot of good things happening, which is help, which is making more awareness of Japan within the Indian community also. Next slide, Ashwini sir.
Yes.
Yeah. So any questions? I mean, if you can just can putting your questions in the chat, we can do that later also. Okay. So how is the education systems and career? Because look, I can share this deck if you want, you can take it, but I will summarize what is there, right? So one is, um, it is more less of theory, more of experience. That's a life. That's how the education is structured in Japan, right? So even for the kids, kindergartens and all those stuff, you don't have a 9 to 6 hours of classes. They ensure that first cleanliness and discipline is taught first, and then comes the technical stuff, right? Because one of the attitude and the good manners are the first thing that needs to be get into the students, right? So that's how it is structured here. You can even see a person who has not completed a degree having a highest technical role or technique responsible for a has done is having a CTO role also, because they are dedicated to what they do. So even if you don't learn, you don't have a basic, they ensure that they learn the basics even after getting to a job, and they do it. So that is what it is. But for any of you guys interested to uh, have a degree completed in Japan or something, what my suggestion is, there is always expectation to have Japanese knowledge into that. That always helps up, and which will also help you to get a job quite easily within Japan once you complete your degree, right? While there is a focus, or there is a, interest in the bigger organizations to onboard a foreign national, I think what I have read last year, all the Japanese companies should have 5 to 7% of their overall recruitment every year, right? They recruit close to say 1,000, but the 5 to 7% of them should be a non-Japanese bilingual resources. So that is opening up a big opportunity for most of us to get a job in Japan. That's one thing. But any Indians, those who want to have procure their career in IT industries, all the IT industries are focusing in Japan, because once you establish a business in Japan, it is long term. It is tough to establish a business, but once you establish a relationship and thing, it never goes off, right? I always think, okay, look, first is attitude, and relationship is much important, whereas the technical things can be taught, can be learned, right? That comes with experience. So that's a kind of a mindset. So there is always a thing. And for bilingual candidates, or the people those who are bilingual, have lots and lots and opportunities in Japan, that's for sure. And and again, those who are uh, at the start of your careers, right? So if you're going to US or going to UK, which is good, I don't say no. But on the financial thing also, initial 5 to 10 years of career until you have a family and other thing, the opportunity to save is more in Japan. Okay, now with the currency fluctuation, I might have to just hold back a little bit, but other than that, I've seen people saving more than when they travel to US or UK. That is something that you might have to consider that also. But when you're at the beginning of your career, you stay with your friends. If you're ready to cook and if you can save some things, that's something that we can really do. Okay, that is on the financial side of it. And on the season, how the country is, how the nature is, how the living lifestyle is. Maybe Ashwin, I can go to the next slide. I can finish it off, and I can talk about Japan in general, how it is and other stuff, right? Um, I've given like what are the various kinds of opportunities that you have. Typically, people are looking for bilingual business analyst, consultants, PM, delivery in technology industries. But nowadays, it has opened up for the low skilled um, opportunities also. Say, for example, I've seen people nowadays coming as a working in the non-technical areas like hotel management, restaurants, and such kinds of opened up. And I've started seeing that. I'm seeing a lot of people coming in those areas also, right? And always engineering has been a focus for Japan. Japan spends more than 40 to 50% of their budget in R&D. That opens up uh, for a lot of opportunities, right? Because they're dedicated, focused. There's a lot of funding from the government for the R&D. That has given a lot of opportunities. And those who want to do a post graduation or the PhD, I will say Japan is one of the best places. You get very good stipend, and there's a lot of promotion that is happening at the uh, post graduation level, and there is a lot of attraction that's happening from the college side also. There's a lot of sponsorship that is coming in. The universities give sponsorship. Government of India gives sponsorship. Government of Japan gives sponsorship. You just need to get inside, just explore in the university. How are they, what are the various opportunities that is there, and we can do this. So in in general, I would say you might have to consider, or there is there's nothing wrong in considering Japan as a as your career option also, when those who are interested to go abroad, right? About the country, very, very beautiful country, very scenic. This is one of the very few countries in the world where you can see all four seasons, right? You see, you have a winter, you have summer, you have spring, and you have autumn, right? And each location in each season is very, very beautiful. It's different. You will never get bored of going, even if you go in Europe or if you're in US. Once you drive, I mean, US is very broad and wide. I will not talk about that. Europe, once you travel everything, you'll get bored of fourth or fifth day because it's the same scene, same thing, same mountains, same water and other things. But here it is a little different. While the constructions will see similar for you, uh the nature itself is very different. You get volcanoes, you get the mountains, you get seashores, everything, right? Parks. And as a culture, I think you would, those who are at least learning Japanese, you would have come across a koen is a very common word when you learn your Japanese also, because it is the parks and the nature is part of their culture. It's nothing different, right? So that's how it is. And the culture is very, very close to us. It is not like Western culture, and which will get aligned to us also, right? That's in summary. I just wanted to cover, but I thought it will be more than have it'll be good to spend more time on the questions and answers and give you some more clarity on this, right? So that's what I was thinking. But open to the forum. So Ramasan, Ashwini-san, anything that you want me to cover, or?
We will take in the questions on the chat, Shuksan. I'll start reading out the queries. So
Okay.
you can answer them one by one. Yeah, so we have a question from Tanuja's one. So she's asking how much prior experience required along with language requirement to find a visa sponsorship job in Japan. And she's from our HR department working as a talent partner. So she also wants to know the scope of any her domain in Japan. If you can give some insights into the, I
Yeah,
think
definitely. HR is a very, very hot domain, or at least there is always a opening. HRs are always in demand in Japan. So that's on the first part of it. Um, but HRs would need a bilingual capability there, irrespective of experience. Even if you have 2 3 years of experience, that's okay. But the expectation will be to have a bilingual. There are HRs if you are not a bilingual, if you're a startup, but there are some Indian organizations or MNCs where the HRs are monolingual. But I see that mainly in the organizations where it's more offshore. Say for example, you have most of the crowd coming from but they will not be the main HR, but they will be additional supporting the offshore team. So that's how it is for the HR. But I would suggest a bilingual HR who has a knowledge of Japanese laws and other stuff. It always there is opportunities. Okay, that's number one. But nevertheless, there's always opportunity. If you are here in Japan, it's easy to get a job and get it done.
yes. So we have another question. The next one. My son is currently in middle school. He's very fascinated for Japan. So he's currently in N5. At what age or education time he can plan for Japan?
I think it's in middle school. I would suggest schooling to be completed there in India, and he can start from the undergraduate. That will be the best suggestion I would have. Um, but it's always better to have the connect with the language. They can go up to N3, level 3, or 2 is little difficult. I would suggest they can go to level 3. And with that, if they get into the thing, it will be a very, very good opportunity. The reason when I am saying that it's better to do a grade 12 in India is there is a strict rule in Japan that you need to complete 18 years of education or school education to even get into any of the universities in Japan. So, but if you are coming from a foreign nation, when you would have completed your schooling in a non-Japan, anywhere outside Japan, there is a flexibility even with 16 years or 17 years, because in India we usually our kids start the career schooling early and they complete early when compared to the other countries. So uh, and it will also be a little expensive, because if you bring them in the schooling, if you're staying living in Japan, that is okay. If not, if we cannot put them in a local school here, so they it's all 70 to 80% is Japanese medium, right? So it's always better to come on the undergraduate state and having a knowledge of Japanese. It's always better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Moving to the next query, this is from Harini-san. She's asking, thank you for your time and lecture, Shuk-san. As someone with no background in engineering and learning Japanese to purely get into translation field, be it interpretation, teaching, translating documents, etc. So do you have any advice about finding and pursuing jobs in that field?
Yes, opportunities are there if you're not restricted for IT and other things. As I just told, that there are other places where you have started getting jobs. But one thing is, the challenge that you might have is coming to Japan. Once you come to Japan, it's very easy, right? Opportunities are like anything, like ocean, like you can pick up. Until you find, like there are some interpretation jobs and translation jobs, that is mostly it is done in after the COVID days. It's done from India, at least for the cost benefit. On the other hand, there is lots and lots of opportunities. You can enter or somehow get the visa and come inside. You would find a lot of opportunity here.
The next query is from Ganesh-san. So he's asking, he has about five plus years of experience in pharmacovigilance.
Mhm.
So in Japanese with NT. So he's asking for any opportunity for him in Japan. Pharmacovigilance.
Pharmacovigilance is it's very very hot. So
Okay.
if you have Japanese and if you have little bit on the pharma and the Japanese policies and other things, it's very very hot now.
Tananda-san has another query. What are some challenges you faced while growing in your career as a son that you wished to be done in the other way in the initial stage itself? I think it's a good question.
Yeah, it's a very good question. But things have changed a lot from what I was and what it is now. Okay. So first of all, the first challenge I had is even for food. To find even an Indian restaurant, I had to walk, say, or at least we'll take a cycle and go for 20, 25 minutes or 30 minutes, right? That's how it was. But now every station, every alternate street has an Indian food. That's one of the biggest advantage, right? That's number one. Number two is you need to be very comfortable in food and the culture, right? You should be very open to adapt to new cultural things, right? That is the biggest challenge that you might have to come in, or at least you will have to mm, take care of it. You cannot get like people I've seen in the beginning of the career, in fact myself, uh, having lots and lots and challenges if you don't have a right job, right? Because um, the what do you say, like, so when you are in a city outside Tokyo. Now Tokyo is like any other city, like New York or Bombay or anywhere. Is life is smooth nowadays. In fact, I had three people coming from Bangalore last month, and they were telling me they looks like they just frightened them, saying that you will not get food, you will not get anything. That one, those guys are eating much better than what they were eating in India nowadays and all those stuff. But other hand, in the challenges, what you're telling, one is food and the language. If you know those two, the next is the work culture that comes in. They are workaholic. Okay. So you need to ensure that you are ready to work, dedicate, and focus in work. That is something that we need to focus. And the way of working in Japan is little different from what you work in the other countries. Say, for example, you write A in anywhere in a blackboard. You just say write A and they say this is A for you. But for Japan, it should be a little different. A is like put this line like this, put this line like this, put like line like this. So that when you put like this, it's called A. So that's a kind of explanation you need to give to Japanese. Whereas for others, you can say, okay, just draw something and say this is A. That's it. So that's a kind of a challenge you'll see. One is the cultural adoption will be a challenge, but if you have a training and have the language, you can really overcome. The other part, like having food and other stuff, has now there is no challenges there. That has improved a lot. You see lots of Indians nearby.
Next query is from Priyasha-san. What are the opportunities for a fresher in Japan? I'm a computer science student. And what are the important technical skills they look for when hiring?
Japan is like that's what I told you, right? They look for more of attitude and your scholarship and your language skills. Technical, you can learn whenever you come in and into the organization and learn, right? That is how the Japanese organizations really look. So that's an advantage that you have in Japan.
Kiran Kumar San has a query. I am 42-year-old working as an associate PM. He's a Spanish translator in Hitachi Energy. He's preparing for N3 now. Please let me know the opportunities.
You have lots and lots of opportunities. Hitachi, already you are with Hitachi Energy. Hitachi is a big by its name, and they are huge. I would suggest if you learn Japanese and if you say you know Spanish, I think they will only explore and bring you back here. So that's how it is.
Okay. Next, we have a query from Hriday Kiran Shetty San. So he's asking, how is the current market for software development? I'm trying to decide whether I should pursue higher education in the country or enter the job market directly.
Okay, it depends on your experience and your skills, right? So there are some skills. If you are a bilingual, even if you're in India, you can apply and get a job. But don't restrict yourself to an Indian IT country. I mean, in IT organization. Look for broad opportunities and see there is a lot of opportunity that is coming in. That is one way of looking. But if you feel you, it's always easier or it's much more guaranteed, pursue a higher education and just get into a job here. That's a walk-in, guaranteed.
Rajasthan has a query. This is about IT industry. How good is the opportunity for I think it's development operations engineers. Which language level is needed to apply and pursue for a career? Can we work from India as well? He's asking about a remote job, I think, from working from India.
DevOps is growing in Japan. I mean, Japan, they are always slow in adopting the newer technologies because of the age factor and other stuff. But once they decide they want to do it, they will do it. Always, if you know a language and if you are a DevOps engineer, the opportunities are more. Lots and lots of opportunities are there, definitely. And you can work remotely, not at all a problem.
Next, we have a query. I am in finance and services domain for the last 10 years and got entry knowledge. Please guide me for career opportunities in Japan.
Uh, Finance has, I'm not sure, finance is very, very big word in the services domain. Whether it's a BFSI, you are more of a functional consultant or IT, I'm not sure. But uh, finance has a good opportunities, but I would suggest you might look for a global organizations who's having a presence in Japan, because finance in Japan is different from what we see outside. So we need a lot of local languages. With a good experience and language, definitely there's opportunity where you can come in and look in the local thing. But I would suggest look for a global um, organizations, like say for example, you take any of the insurance companies like AXA and all those people, right? They have their biggest presence in Japan, right? And the MetLife or anything, because they're outside thing, but they're looking for people who are bilingual, especially with little bit of Japanese. So those kind of organizations, you can definitely look for a job.
Uma-san has a query. How challenging is for the family members who are not bilingual in Japanese culture? How is the society and living in Japan? She wants to know.
Very good question. There are good hubs now in Tokyo, Umasan, where the 70% of the hubs are Indians than Japanese, right? So things have changed. 2 decades back is different. That's what I was telling. Things have changed. Uh, it all depends on how you are. If you just go and stay near in Tokyo, it is very more comfortable. That's the way I'll put it. I will not say put as Japan in general, but in Tokyo it's very comfortable. Um, there are 2-3 hubs where 50-60% of the population is Indians. There are so many local native classes that has been scheduled nowadays. You get all the food that is there. Things are changing. Um, if you find your place near yourself near an Indian community, it will be much more comfortable.
She's also has another query. I think Ashok sir already answered, but I think she's referring to small kids here. So she says there are a lot of difference in kids' education. So how does it affect the middle level study of kids?
Yeah, I think kids education is very good nowadays. If you want to, you can. There are 3 or 4 Indian schools in Japan, right? So they teach you the second language is Hindi, and some other places they have Kannada, Tamil, or something like Telugu also. But here you have a CBSE school. There are 3 CBSE schools in Tokyo now.
Okay. Nuhasan has a query. I'm currently studying and doing undergraduation. Is there any opportunity in the field of, she's asking for accountancy. Yeah.
Sorry, what was it?
She's asking for accountancy field. She's doing undergraduation now.
Accountancy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think accountancy, yeah, definitely Japan accountancy is different. There are people who are taking those things. If you're a bilingual and if you do a graduation here and if you have post graduation in accountancy and if you know the language, definitely opportunities are there.
Another query: how's the job market for manufacturing sector?
Manufacturing, close your eyes. It's always open. Japan is the biggest hub for manufacturing.
Panasan has a query. She wants to go to Japan for undergraduation, but some of the universities don't have the dorms available. So how can I search for housing and what shared
Don't
apartment?
worry about that. Don't worry about that. First year students, those who are having less experience, I mean, not much of exposure to Japan, they give you dorm. Otherwise, it is very easy. You can find out a little. It'll be a little more expensive than what you see in the dormitory. Usually, the dormitory you can get for 40 to 45,000 yens, where you can cook your own food and other stuff. The universities will give a stipend for another something. So with 100,000, you should be able to live in Japan when you're living as a student. But when you are staying outside, it needs just another 10 to 15,000, 20,000 more. And you might have to look for houses which is having less advance and other stuff. Otherwise, those are available. And most of the universities, those who don't have dorm, they introduce the real estate agents nearby who can support you there. Nothing to worry much on that.
There's another query from Anushya San. She's doing BA currently. So any career opportunities for her? I think she's
So again, BA directly with a bilingual, you might have a little bit of challenges, but I would suggest if you're interested in doing a post graduation and doing it, it'll be easier. But so saying less, but there are some, if you can really scale up your language and if you can come to a level 1, you will have a lot of opportunities.
Okay. So there's another query. So after completing higher secondary studies, that is 12 in India, can we pursue degree in Japan universities?
Yes, definitely. I think, look, there is something called, I forgot the name of it. There are some around 30 to 40 universities in Japan, those who are giving a bilingual education to them. So it's like most of those education is going to be in English, and you can definitely apply there. You can come here, get your scholarship done. I know there are few universities they are giving, and for few curriculum they give 100% scholarship for Indian students. One university in Osaka, it's called Ritsumeikan. They have at least 7 or 8 bilingual or at least bilingual curriculums or English-based curriculums. That's the best way to put. For Indian students and some of the Asian countries, they give 100% scholarship for some of the things. I would suggest do a little bit of explore, do a little bit of Google and try to see such universities. Definitely, there is a lot of opportunity there.
The last question for this session. And Radhika San wants to know, I am preparing NP now and have 1.5 years experience in Japanese payroll. Is there any chance for me to work in Japan?
It all depends on your skills, and if you can really click and on your Japanese level is really good, definitely there's opportunity.
Okay, I think we have another question here from Pranita San. Are there any opportunities in Salesforce technology?
You can walk in. You can walk in. I can take you. I have 8 openings right now in Salesforce.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, he says please do. Okay. So yes, yes, I think that's the last question for this session. Thank you so much, everyone, for answering. Anyone else who have any other query, please? We've come to the end of the session.
Paras has asked the next question. Are there opportunities in 3D animation and modeling?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, 3D and automotive robotics, these things are very, very famous in Japan, right? So always there are opportunities. Look, Japan is a land of opportunities. Okay. this is all how we approach and how we really look for the opportunities and how much is the language we know. If you have, if you are convenient in the language and if you are okay to adopt yourself for the food and the stuff that is here, this country has lots and lots of opportunities. Initial 1 or 2 years are going to be a little bit challenging for you guys, but if you can overcome the initial 2 years, it's going to be, I'm sure you will not go out of any other country from here.
That's a lovely input, Ashok san. I mean, I think today we've had the maximum number of questions and the best answers possible. So I think from Ashok san's talk, we can say Japan can be called the land of rising sun and also the land of opportunities now, golden opportunities. Each one of you with the language expertise and the technical know-how, whatever you have, whichever background you have from, you should look up at Japan or start working here in Japanese companies. We can also help you in your placements. But yes, the land of opportunities awaits all of you there, right? So those who are not yet started with the language, please get started so that your life there is a little more comfortable, so that you can face the first 2 years, as Ashok san says, with a little more ease, so that you don't feel more homesick, right? So
Yeah, that's correct.
I think with this, we are done with the questions.
So one more
Okay,
thing,
I do.
I've been with Saffron Yoga Resource Center for in my previous thing also, right? So their quality is really good. It's not that I'm doing any marketing for them, but I'm just telling my truth, right? So they helped us in some of the translations. In fact, I was working with 4 or 5 other people, other organizations who were doing this translation services. But I felt the quality and the price they deliver has been very, very challenging, interesting. So that's why I'm trying to onboard them now after by coming here also. I think they're good actually. That's something that it's not a marketing, but I have this experience that I've had with them.
Thank you very much, Ashok san. We will surely stand for the quality we have delivered, be it in Wipro or be it in TechMahindra. We will always support you. Not to worry on that. So, students out there, I think it's been a very good, very effective Michi session today. And of course, those who have missed it, it will be posted on our social media platforms. You can have a look at it. Please feel free to reach out to us for any further questions. Whatever possible from our end, we will do it. We will respond back to you. Else, we will connect with Ashok san and get you more inputs about life in Japan. Ashok san,
Yeah.
do you want to touch upon any, salary brackets or, for a
Yeah, okay,
fresher?
we can touch upon that. For a freshers, I'll say it's anywhere between um, okay, if let me put it like this. If you join come via IT organization which is in India, you join them as a bilingual engineer in India and you come here uh, for with having a minimal experience of 4 to 5 years of your technical experience and with a bilingual thing, you get your salary of anywhere between 350,000 to 450,000 JPY. But if you are doing your career in Japan, doing your course here in Japan as a fresher, you will get anywhere between 350,000, 300 to 350,000, right? That is where you get for engineering graduates and like that. But again, don't worry about that because first year you'll be staying. I mean, you need, if you have 100,000, that's something enough for first 2 3 years when you're starting your career, right? Rest everything gets into saving. So anywhere between 300,000 will be your base salary if you're a fresher. 250 to 300 will be a base salary. Then Japan has a lot of overtime concept, and if you're joining a Japanese organization, they give you accommodation, they give you a accommodation fee also, depending on the organization that is.
That's lovely. I think, guys out there, please think, think strongly about moving to Japan and working there. There is a huge need there. There's a dearth of bilinguals and engineers.
I will tell you one data alone. SAP S4 HANA. Most of you, those who are in IT field, will be knowing about that. Japan is short of 18,000 employees just in SAP S4 HANA.
Oh my God.
Okay, that is just one example I'm telling. And Salesforce, someone asked about that also. They're always in need of 3,000 to 4,000 resources every year. It stays stagnant. It doesn't go down or go up, right? So it's like it goes up basically. It doesn't go down. So that's how it is.
We have the talent here. There's a need there. I think we need to bridge that.
Yes,
That's when
That's
both the
one of
countries will
Japan
be
also wants
benefited.
to focus in India, right? That's why they
Uh,
want to focus in India. We have a young
Right.
talent, very easy to grasp things and other stuff. So
Very true. Very true. So I think when if we had a better audience with more numbers, a lot more people would have got benefited. But yes, at least these 30 plus who joined today, please pass this on to your friends, colleagues. There is need there. It is just with the language you're available, then you have the right goal set in front of you. You'll be able to do really good in your career and for yourself and for the countries, both the countries. So with this, I again take this to thank Ashok San to connect with us today and give you all these wonderful, I would say, enlightening inputs to us, so that youngsters out there should think how to steer your career. And you should all be bilinguals, engineers going to Japan. I think TechMahindra would also love to have few of you there
more
matching
than
their
happy, right?
requirements.
I always have 150 to 200 positions that I need to fulfill. So if I at least 10 to 15 from this team comes, I'll be more than happy. Yeah.
Great. So yeah, all the best to all of you. And once again, thank you very much, Ashok San, for this
Thank you.
wonderful talk.
Ramasan, in case if they're interested, they can pass on my LinkedIn ID to them. If they want anything, they can reach out to me also. Yeah.
Sure. We will do that. Thank you very much, Ashok San.
Thank you.
And thanks to
everyone.
all the colleges and the students.
It was nice talking to you guys. Yeah.
Prajwal San will give you the LinkedIn connect of Ashok San. You can connect with him and take that forward.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Arigatou gozaimashita, Ashok San.
Arigatou gozaimashita.